Distractions are not harmless. They are enemies dressed as entertainment. Every scroll, every click, every excuse, they rob you. They steal your edge. They drain your purpose. You're not taking a break. You're building a habit of escape. And if you don't kill the habit, it will kill your potential. You think the world is quiet while you waste time? It's not. It's moving. It's building. While you're lost in notifications, someone else is building an empire. While you're checking likes, someone's checking milestones. This is war, and your legacy is on the line. You can't serve your distractions and build your future at the same time. Choose. You either feed the thing that weakens you or feed the thing that will outlive you. There is no in-between. Every decision becomes your direction. The ones who leave a mark, they don't have more time, they just waste less. They starve their cravings, they ignore the noise. And because of that, their names echo long after they're gone. They don't just succeed, they leave legacies. You don't need more hours, you need more hunger. You need to remember why you started, who you're doing this for, what kind of life you're willing to bleed for. You get one shot at this, and distractions are the enemy of destiny. This is your line in the sand. Starve the distractions, feed the thing that will make you immortal. Your attention is your greatest currency, and most people give it away like it's worthless. They trade gold for garbage, trade purpose for comfort, trade progress for dopamine. And then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they feel hollow, why they can't move forward. Because distraction is the new addiction, and it's killing legacies before they're ever born. If it doesn't build you, it breaks you, period. Every time you just check for a minute, you're breaking flow. Every time you let your mind wander, you lose sharpness. Focus isn't optional anymore, it's survival. If you don't guard your mind, the world will fill it with junk and own your outcome. You weren't created to be average. You weren't designed to live on repeat, responding to nonsense and reacting to everything. You were built for impact, for legacy. And legacy doesn't grow in distraction. It's planted in discipline, watered in silence, and harvested in time. The world wants your eyes, your time, your attention. Why? Because if it can keep you distracted, it can keep you defeated. Because no one rises while consumed by what doesn't matter. Victory is found in the quiet, in the locked in the focused few who refuse to be pulled away. Start seeing distractions for what they are. Thieves. They don't just steal your time. They rob your greatness. They delay your breakthrough. They dim your fire. And worst of all, they make you forget who you really are. But you're waking up. You're reclaiming your focus. You're not here to scroll. You're here to build something that roars when you're gone. Starve the lies. Feed the legacy. You have to choose what kind of pain you want. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One builds you, the other buries you. One demands sacrifice today. The other demands your future. You cannot escape pain, but you can decide which kind fuels your name. Legacy is not built in public. It's built in private. In the moments where nobody is watching and quitting would be easy. Legacy grows in the silence. When you skip the party, when you reject the urge, when you pick purpose over pleasure again and again and again. Distractions are cowardice in disguise. They're the easy way out, wrapped in color and convenience. They offer you nothing and still ask for everything. They promise escape, but deliver emptiness. And if you fall for them long enough, they will rewrite your life without your permission. But you are not a passive observer. You are not a bystander in your own destiny. You have a choice, and it starts now, not tomorrow, not next week, now. You either rise with intention or sink with excuses. The moment you stop feeding distractions, everything shifts. Your time expands. Your vision sharpens. Your energy returns. You stop reacting and start directing. That's the switch. And when it flips, the world has no defense against you. You become lethal, clear, unstoppable. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped giving your power away. This is the beginning of your real legacy. Every time you choose focus, you are casting a vote for the person you set becoming. Every scroll you skip, every hour you guard, every temptation you reject, that sips a signature, that sips a statement. You set saying, I stop not like them. I stop here to build something they stop never understand. You don't need more time. You need more intention. Most people aren't out of time. They're out of focus. They confuse motion with progress. But you're done with busy. You're done with noise. You're here to move with meaning. There steps a moment when you stop caring about being liked and start caring about being remembered. That steps when everything changes. That steps when your priorities shift. That steps when you stop asking, what do they think? And start asking, what will they say about me when I steps am gone? Discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. Every sacrifice you make now is a seed, and legacy is the harvest. It doesn't bloom in weeks. It doesn't grow overnight. But when it does, it echoes louder than any distraction ever could. Your story will be told by what you starved and what you fed. Make it legendary. The ones who build legacies don't wait to feel ready. They move anyway. They train the mind to obey the mission, not the mood. That's the separation. Weak minds serve feelings. Strong minds serve purpose. You are what you tolerate. Every excuse you accept becomes your ceiling. Every distraction you allow becomes your cage. But when you get serious, when you draw the line and say no more, you become dangerous. You become the architect of something eternal. Legacy is built in repetition, in quiet hours, in lonely seasons, in ruthless consistency, not by chasing everything, but by mastering one thing, one direction, one mission, over and over, until the world has no choice but to take notice. But you didn't come this far to hand over the pen. You came to write the story on your terms with your focus. For your legacy, you have to become the kind of person who protects their focus like it's oxygen, because it is. Without it, your fire dies, your dreams fade, your clarity dissolves into noise, and noise is where average lives. Noise is where purpose goes to die. There's a version of you that's lethal, clear, strategic, relentless. But you won't meet that version if you keep entertaining chaos. You won't unlock your full power while clinging to comfort. You want to evolve? Cut the nonsense. You don't need more plans. You need more self-control. You don't need to study motivation. You need to become unshakable. The world doesn't need another person trying to focus. It needs someone so locked in that distractions break themselves trying to reach them. And here's the truth. The deeper your focus, the louder your legacy, the more you eliminate, the more you elevate. You rise by subtraction. Every distraction you cut is a staircase, and every minute you reclaim is another brick in the empire you're building. So starve your weakness, starve your excuses, starve your distractions, and feed what matters. Feed your discipline, feed your fire, feed your legacy. The uncomfortable truth: most people will die full of potential, not because they weren't gifted, but because they were distracted. They got addicted to comfort, addicted to watching instead of doing. They never went deep enough to build something that would outlast them. But that's not your story. Not if you choose differently. Not if you decide today that comfort is your enemy and purpose is your standard. Not if you delete the noise and double down on the mission. That's the difference. That's how legacies are born. Your focus is a weapon, a threat, a rebellion against the world's demand that you be available to everything and committed to nothing. But when you say no, when you go dark, when you move in silence, you become a problem the world can't solve. You don't need the crowd. You need clarity. You don't need applause. You need alignment. The loudest life is built in the quietest seasons, the seasons where you walk alone, cut deep, and refuse to let mediocrity touch your name. You've already wasted enough time, enough energy, enough potential. You don't owe the past another minute. You owe the future everything. And the future doesn't come to the distracted. It comes to the disciplined. This is your turning point, right here, right now. The moment you stop playing with your time and start treating it like the currency of your calling, no more waiting, no more delays, no more leaking your greatness into things that don't matter. Focus isn't optional anymore. It's survival. Your legacy isn't written in one big moment. It's written in 1,000 small ones. The hours you said no to comfort, the nights you stayed in and built, the mornings you woke up tired and still showed up like a warrior. That's where greatness is built. That's where your name becomes unshakable. You don't need permission. You don't need motivation. You need a mirror and a decision. Decide who you're going to be and get ruthless about becoming it. Not someday, not when life calms down, because this is it. This is your life. And whether you waste it or weaponize it will be decided by what you feed. Feed your habits. Feed your mind. Feed the future version of you that refuses to die ordinary. Every excuse is a shovel. Every distraction is dirt. And every time you give in, you bury your own name. But when you focus, when you say no to everything that doesn't serve your purpose, you start digging your way out, and you rise. You don't need balance. You need obsession. People who build empires don't aim for work-life harmony. They aim for dominance. That's not toxic. That's reality. When you're building something eternal, there are seasons where focus becomes everything. You disappear now, so your name never does. Distractions dress up like self-care, like just one episode, like I deserve a break. But comfort is a liar. It feeds you just enough pleasure to keep you from pursuing your real power. If you're not careful, you'll mistake rest for surrender, and surrender your entire future for 5 minutes of relief. You weren't made to live soft. You weren't built for numbing your potential. You're here to build, to endure, to master yourself in the dark, so you rise in the light. And that starts with one ruthless decision. Cut the noise or become the noise. Discipline makes you dangerous, because once you master your attention, the world loses its grip on you. You stop reacting. You stop explaining. You stop performing. You just produce, and production is power. Legacy doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what you finished. It's not impressed by your plans, only by your execution. So while they keep talking, scrolling, starting over, you're still building, still stacking, still winning. You are the result of your repeated choices, not your dreams, not your intentions, but your decisions. And if those decisions are fed by distraction, you live in regret. But if they're fueled by vision, you live in legacy. One small shift can change everything. Every master was once a beginner, but what made them great wasn't talent. It was obsession. It was refusing to give in, refusing to give up, refusing to get comfortable. They locked in. They suffered in silence. And because of that, their names outlived them. If you really want to build something that lasts, don't chase motivation, chase structure. Create the conditions where focus wins by default. Cut the triggers. Kill the noise. Build the habits that keep you sharp, even on your worst days. Because when you're focused, even your bad days move the mission forward. And when you're distracted, even your best days become waste. Focus turns effort into impact. Distraction turns potential into poison. And poison doesn't kill all at once. It kills slow. So cut the slow death now and start feeding what gives you life. What's waiting on the other side of your focus? Everything. Peace, power, clarity, impact, but you'll never taste it if you keep feeding weakness, if you keep delaying what must be done. Legacy demands urgency. You don't need another reminder. You already know. You've felt it for years, that restlessness, that internal voice screaming, you were made for more. The reason you're frustrated is because your reality hasn't caught up with your potential yet, and distraction is the rope tying you to smallness. So break it, cut it off, block them, delete it, turn it off, walk away. Do whatever it takes to silence the noise until the only thing left is the sound of you finally rising. Your future doesn't belong to the easily entertained. It belongs to the dangerously focused, the ones who say no 1,000 times so they can say yes to one thing that matters. People will say you're extreme. Good. Let them stay average. Let them make excuses. You're not here to be normal. You're here to make noise that lasts long after you're gone. Because when you feed your legacy, it feeds generations you haven't even met yet. Ask yourself, what are you really feeding? Your weakness or your strength? Every habit, every thought, every click is a seed, and one day soon you will eat the fruit of everything you've watered. You think you're distracted because you're weak? No, you're distracted because you're afraid. Afraid of how powerful you could actually be if you cut the junk and locked in. Afraid that your excuses won't protect you anymore. But fear is fuel. If you stop hiding from it, use it. Let it remind you what's at stake. Let it light the fire again, because nothing hurts more than knowing you could have been great, but chose to settle for entertainment. Discipline is love. Focus is freedom. Obsession is clarity. These aren't limitations, they're liberation. The more you cut out, the more you become. You don't shrink, you sharpen. So starve the lies, starve the noise, and feed your calling until your life becomes louder than any distraction ever was. One day someone will stand where you once stood. They'll ask, how did they do it? They won't know the hours you suffered, the days you wanted to quit, the distractions you silenced, the people you outgrew. They'll only see the result, and that's the point. You weren't made to just get by. You were made to shake the ground, to do the kind of work that echoes, to live so focused, so intentionally that mediocrity gets uncomfortable in your presence. You've seen who you can become. You've tasted it. That vision won't leave you because it's your truth, but it's not guaranteed. It only becomes real if you starve the distractions and feed the fire daily. And when your name is remembered, when your life is studied, they'll know. You weren't the loudest, you weren't the most talented, but you were the most focused. And that's what built the legacy. So keep going, keep cutting, keep sharpening, because every day you choose focus, you feed the future. You feed your power. You feed the story that will live long after you're gone. If you made it here, type Legacy Builder in the comments. That's how I'll know you're different, that you're serious, that you don't just watch motivation, you live it.